Shalom. So since you did at least come without, making some
So this is teaching for women. So you said that you were open for correction. So I thought I would try to explain what that gentleman was trying to show you. And hopefully I can do it in 10 minutes. But if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 12, Jehovah gives explicit instructions that a lot of the Torah movement miss and don't take in consideration. So if you read it, you're not to do what's right in your own eyes. That's what Deuteronomy 12 talks about. And it says that you cannot, he doesn't want them to tear down the idols, the groves, and cleanse a foreign land, but they're to only do that in the land where he chooses to place his name. And that's very important to note. They could only cleanse the land where he chose to place his name and the land of their inheritance. And Deuteronomy chapter 16, he tells you multiple times that they could only do the feasts inside the land where he chooses to place his name when they were in their inheritance. Okay? We're not in that land. And I don't know if you know that there's two houses. There's the house of Judah, and then there's the northern kingdom, the other 10 tribes. The house of Judah and Benjamin were there's the house of Judah and Benjamin, and then there's the 10 other tribes, which was Israel. And Israel, they learned the ways of the heathen round about them when he told them not to. And so he wrote them a bill of divorce, and he scattered them to the four corners of the world. And this is the story in Ezekiel. He laid on his left side for Israel for 390 days, which represent years. And then, Judah did the same sin after they saw Israel do that sin. They did the same sin. So they were placed in captivity for 40 years. But a portion of Judah returned. Israel were not ashamed, so they didn't return. So their punishment became sevenfold. And so they're still scattered to the four corners of the world today. But his people are starting to wake up. And that started in 2008. And the Bible tells you that Ephraim, which is America, the land of the drunkards, which is an idiom for pride, the land of the pride, Ephraim goes after the winds of Judah, and then Judah vexes Ephraim. So they start waking up, and then they start learning the ways and the traditions of Judah. And if you read Daniel chapter 1, it tells you that when Judah was in captivity, they learned the teachings, the language, and the traditions of the Chaldeans. And that's where this evening Friday to evening Saturday Sabbath came from. It's a Babylonian Sabbath, a polluted Sabbath. And going back to the feast. I don't want to get too much on a tangent. Anyways, the feast. Okay, so we can only do the feast inside the land where our inheritance is. Israel was scattered. We're in a polluted land. We're not in the land of our inheritance. New Jerusalem has not come down. Okay? He hasn't restored everything yet. So we're not to be doing the feasts outside the land. And even the land there, even the people there today, the land's polluted. It's completely polluted. And they're not in peace and safety. So we're not to be feasting right now. Right at this moment, it's the time of Lamentations, mourning, and woe. You can read Lamentations chapter 2, verse 4. He violently took the feast away. And Jubilee 6, he took the calendar away. And you're only to do the feasts at the appointed time. So that's why there's 7 different calendars, and people are doing right in their own eyes. They don't know what day to do the feast on, so they're choosing a calendar, what they think is the best one, and doing the feast on those days, which is doing right in their own eyes, not to the full instruction of Jehovah, and they're polluting his feasts. That's why Isaiah 1 says that he does not accept their new moons, their Sabbaths, their solemn assemblies. They're a trouble to him. If you read the book of Tobit, he did the feasts outside the land. Jehovah sent a bird to crap in his eyes, and he was blinded. That was his punishments. Malachi chapter 2 verse 3 tells you his feasts are dung all over your face, just like Tobit's. There's so many warnings in the Bible about this. There's prophecy of these people. He calls them dumb dogs that cannot bark, that fill their bellies. They put off the weightier matters of the law, which is, they're supposed to be entering into the work of the watchman, because what he said to the porter, he said to all watch, which is picking your staff of authority up and going and finding his lost sheep, the scattered northern tribe, Israel, fulfilling the royal law, which is loving your neighbor as yourself, one of the magnified laws that Yeshua gave us in Matthew 22, to love God, which was the first and great commandment. Deuteronomy chapter 6 was to keep the 10 commandments, and then love your neighbor as thyself, Leviticus 19:15-18, to rebuke sin out of them. That's what we're supposed to be trying to find our brothers and sisters and tell them to come out of the Christian church, the lawless church, and keep the covenants of promise. But again, Ephraim went after the winds of Judah, and Judah stumbles at Yeshua. They do traditions and customs of men as well. They've learned the ways of the Chaldeans, and they're not watching. They're feasting. They're filling their bellies instead of watching. They're not going in and trying to find his lost sheep. When it comes to the Sabbath, though, you can read Exodus chapter 16. It says they gathered twice the amount of manna on the sixth day, because tomorrow, Morrow, is the Sabbath to the Lord. Well, if you look up morning in the Strong's Concordance, it means morrow. Tomorrow morning is the Sabbath to the Lord thy God. And then Matthew 28, it says, at the end of Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, Sunday, came the Marys. The Sabbath ended at dawn on the first day of the week, because the Sabbath is dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. We're to let the day dawn in our heart. It's a more sure way of prophecy. And there's a ton of scripture on these evening, they call them, I'm just going to go to one of them. So this is 1 Thessalonians 5, right? We are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the nights, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the nights. We're not children of the nights. We're children of the light, day. And if you read Genesis, he worked during the daylight, and then evening came. If you look that up in the Strong's, it's a transition of time into night. When the sun sets into night, then morning came for the first day, day 1, 24 hours. That means the day started in the morning. For the second day, he worked during